Hi, I'm Laurel Didier. I'm the publisher of Closets and Organized Storage, and I'm here today with Mike Carson from Inspired Closets of Chicago, of closets. That makes sense because he's totally in the closets, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself, about his business, and this is 10 questions for the May-June issue of Closets and Organized Storage. So Mike, why don't you just give us a little bit about who's Mike Carson, the person?
Okay, thanks, Laurel. Thanks, Laurel. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Me as a person, I'm first and foremost, I'm a husband and father to 4 outstanding kids who, by the way, 2 are off the payroll, two are finishing up graduate school. So yeah, it's been a great experience raising a family, and it kind of coincides with starting the business that I started in 1987. And time's flown. It's gone super fast. But here we are in 2022. This is my 35th year in business, and it's been quite a ride. It's an incredible industry that has wonderful people who love to share, and proud to be a part of it. And I want to show you something too. I was looking in my archives. When I first started the business back in '87, this was my very first sign.
The closet organizers. Look at that, no area code. Woo!
Yeah, but what you'll notice is the phone number doesn't have an area code. That's
wild, right?
That's how long ago it was. There was no area codes. There was no internet. There was no cell phone, no smartphone. We had to look in a map book to find where we were going. And
oh yeah, how many times did we drive around in circles because we couldn't quite read the map as we're driving?
yeah, so not only has the industry changed in really great ways, but just the technology and the environment and the acceptance of what we sell has changed dramatically as well.
For sure, for sure. So what brings you the most joy personally and professionally in your life?
Well, personally, my family brings me the greatest joy. Going on trips with them, spending time with the family. I love to golf personally. However, I've never won a tournament. And calling me a golfer is like calling a woodpecker a carpenter. But I enjoy being out there chasing the ball, with friends and having a good time. I've been a runner my entire life. I started running back when I was 35 because I was getting a little heavy. I thought, well, the only way to lose weight is to run for me, and I can't run without a goal. So never having run in March, I said, I'm going to run. What's the goal? I want to run the marathon in October. So I realize now how naive that was. I started training and ran my first marathon after 6 months of training, which I would never advise. Didn't go so well, but anyway, it kind of gave me the bug, and I've been running ever since, and completed probably 8 marathons.
Fantastic.
And there, I've never won a marathon. In fact, when I finished the marathon,
neither have many people.
When I actually finished the marathon, the winner who won the marathon is back home taking a shower.
Yeah. Yeah, that's running has never been. I ran track in high school, but it was all short distances. I was a sprinter, so jogging has never been fun for me. Don't like it, but
neither does my wife.
I'm a swimmer. I like to swim. So you started your business in your garage, or was it your basement?
Well, it was actually my basement in Logan Square, Chicago. I was in college, and I was actually studying entrepreneurial studies. I was going to open up a business in commercial cleaning because I had started a cleaning service in Gillette, Wyoming, of all places. When I was 19, just to pass the time and have some money while I was out working the oil fields in Wyoming. But when I came back to school, when I came back to school, I decided to open up a commercial cleaning company in Chicago. And I was also a waiter at the time. I was waiting tables at a restaurant called Spiaggia downtown, which is a really
Oh,
beautiful.
yummy.
Yeah, mostly it's closed now, but it's a beautiful 5-star Northern Italian restaurant, which taught me a lot. And by the way, I think that in terms of our service business, I learned a lot about service just waiting tables. In fact, I thought
Sure.
I'd ultimately like to write a book entitled "Everyone Should Wait Tables." I think that would be a great book teaching lessons of service and awareness and acknowledgement and all these different things that we need to know in business.
So true.
But anyway, I was working in the restaurant, and I needed a butcher block table for my garden department. And I'm at school writing this big business plan on commercial cleaning, and I went out to shop for this butcher block table, and they were $800 to buy a table.
Yeah.
And I was a poor college kid, so I thought, well, I can't afford that, so I'm just going to build one. And my grandpa was a woodworker. I know it's in me, right? So I go and I buy all the tools. I buy the maple block. I buy the books to learn how to do it. And in 1 month later, I had this big, sturdy butcher block table that only cost me $1,500. So, yeah.
Great story.
So I thought, wow, that was really kind of dumb. But it taught me a lot of things. I said, well, I have the material left over. I've got the knowledge. I've got the tools. Why don't I sell a few tables to my chefs at the restaurant? I'll say, hey, I'll build you a table. And I did that. I started building tables for the chefs and the sous chefs and everybody at Spiaggia. And it would take me a month to build a table. But I sold probably 5 or 6 tables. And my vision was to create this big furniture company now. So my dream is from commercial cleaning to now an empire of furniture manufacturing. And I was out at my dad's house one night having dinner, and this is where it all started. And he goes, hey, you're doing woodworking, right? I go, yeah. And he goes, you got to come check this out. So he takes me up to the closet. He opens up the bifold doors to expose one of the early 1986 white shelf and panel closet system. He goes, you should look at doing this. And I was actually offended because I said, Dad, I'm a woodworker. I'm a craftsman. This is panels and shelves. So after I said, well, yeah, I'll kind of look at it. He goes, well, I had one guy here one day and I paid him $1,500. And I went, wow, it's taking me a month to build one table and I sell that table for $1,000. So I quickly did the math and realized there's something here. So I thought I would start doing closets for a little while, make some money before I got into my furniture business. But story begins there. I got involved and it just was all consuming and it kept growing and I loved it. So I just maintained on the track of custom closets.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, I met you in 2003 or 4 when we were thinking about starting the magazine, Closets and Organized Storage. Actually, then it was just called Closets. And you were at Closet Works in Elmhurst, Illinois. And then you grew big and strong, right? And so what were some of the bumps that you hit while you were expanding your business?
Well, don't rush over that the beginning of Closets Magazine part, because I find that interesting. Let me just start with this. Back in 1999, I was in business 12 years, and I realized that there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. There's no college of closets. There's no trade schools to learn. So I started networking. I reached out to companies, manufacturing companies in all the major markets around the country, and just said, hey, I'm doing closets in Chicago. I'll be in St. Louis next Thursday. You mind if we grab a cup of coffee and talk shop? And so I met a lot of great people that way, and started a group called the National Closet Group, which became a great networking source. We started with 13 companies, ended with 50.
Yeah.
And we would have these conferences where we would share information, best practice. And I got to tell you, most of my growth and success came out of just networking with other people. Not a lot of original ideas, but when you share with other people, you end up confirming what you're doing is right, or you find new ideas that
Yeah.
can quickly improve your company. So I credit everything, in terms of the rapid growth and the sale of my first company and now building a new one, to being able to network with really smart people around the country. But how you guys came in, remember, it was 2003, our third conference was in Savannah, Georgia.
Right.
We invited Helen Kuhl
Right.
to report on it. We thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, at the time it was a woodworking magazine, right?
Yeah. And custom woodworking business.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun if they came down and did a little story about what we were doing? And Helen came back and was like, "Oh, this industry, we had no idea. This is incredible." And within a year, you started a magazine to support the industry. So that was amazing.
Yeah, it went. We did it. We turned it around in 6 months to launch the magazine, the website, and then bring in the trade show. So we were so excited about it. And
it happened quick. And one quick side story about Savannah, when we were setting that up, we had all the banners and everything in the lobby down at the Hyatt by the river.
Yeah,
I remember coming in, and I had the bellman in the elevator with us. We had a big banner, National Closet Group, banner.
yeah.
And just for fun, on the elevator, I said to the bellman, "Hey, what's this closet thing?" And he goes, "Don't know, don't want to know." Not sure what he thought we were doing, but
That's great. So, I mean, your business grew huge. I know we did a plant tour at one of the Closet Cons in Chicago. We went downtown, Lincoln Park, and went to your showroom. And it was, you grew big, you grew beautifully. I mean, everybody really respected you and your business. But there's always bumps that you hit in the road as you're expanding. What are some of those bumps?
well, we don't have enough time to cover them all, so I can hit some highlights.
Or lowlights?
Well, hiring, hiring is so vital in business, and I've made some bad hiring decisions, but the biggest road bump for me is that I have a hard time letting go of certain people when I know they're not doing the job. So, one of the biggest road bumps was having a couple of those issues, but then also, partly for ego, I wanted to grow and become more national too quickly. So I thought, well, why don't I open up, Closet Works in Milwaukee? So I invested a lot of time and money doing that, leaving a lot of money on the table in Chicago. So it was a huge bump and a huge lesson to learn. And just throughout the course of growth, just being able to find the right people and set the right processes. Things run a lot smoother when you can, identify the processes and communicate them and just monitor what you're doing.
Yeah.
Other bumps, I'm sure there's so many more. Well, I think the biggest challenge, or the biggest not regret, but the biggest change in my business was in 2005. That was about when we started the ACSP out of the NCG. We created the all-encompassing association, and that was a conglomeration of all of the executives from the National Closet Group deciding that we had to open up a bigger tent. But around that time too, I was looking to grow more nationally since my Milwaukee debacle. I started looking for capital. So I reached out to a private equity firm, brought them in, and they acquired my business. But I brought them in on the premise of not selling and getting out of it, but to sell to them, reinvest within their organization, and create a national brand and kind of roll up the industry. We were going to have three manufacturing hubs in Chicago. We quickly acquired Stephen Mann in Las Vegas. And then we're going to acquire a company in Atlanta. And we'd have 3 manufacturing hubs supplying the spokes, which would be all of our stores. And we had a plan to go from 25 million to 150 million very quickly. But as we all know, 2008 said no. The housing debacle took us from 350 employees to 78 employees pretty quick.
Wow.
And also, caused the private equity firm to lose interest. So we had to make some moves, and then eventually I exited that company and decided I wasn't done.
So you decided to sell Closet Works because
Well, I wasn't.
you weren't selling, you brought in private equity to expand the business so you could go nationally.
Correct.
Okay.
So actually, semantically, I did sell the business, but I reinvested with the opportunity to to roll up the industry basically and
Right.
create a very large national brand.
Gotcha. So then you came back and you actually bought Inspired Closets of Chicago as a dealer, correct?
Well, actually, it wasn't Inspired Closets in the beginning. I decided if I'm going to get back in, I kind of consider this my back nine. At my age and where I'm at, I thought about recapitalizing manufacturing and doing it all over again that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I took a look at other options as well. Just being a dealer and having a supplier. I looked at franchising as well, and I landed on the Stowe Company out of Holland, Michigan, because to me they were a very ethical, very strong company. They've been in the business a long time, and they had the most ability to provide not only good product but great marketing and great education. So I hitched my wagon to their horse back 7 years ago now. And at that point, it was called Carson Closets and Cabinetry.
Gotcha.
And so was supplying a lot of different people, a lot of different dealers, and everybody had their own name. And in 2015 or 2016, the Stowe Company, which is owned by the DeVos family, brought in a new CEO, very bright guy. He came in and he looked at the landscape of what they were doing and said, well, why don't we take 50 of the top dealers and create a brand around that? And they came up with the concept, which would allow us all to then benefit from one name, one branding, one brand that can grow quickly.
Yeah.
And I was all in on that. I said, Phil, that's an incredible idea. I'm all in. So being close to Grand Rapids or Holland, Michigan, they use Chicago as the pilot program, where in 2017 we became the first Inspired Closets showroom.
That's fantastic.
Since then, it's so successful. Since then, there is now 55 showrooms around the country.
Wow.
We have great marketing strength, as a team, as a unit. So everything's going really well.
That's awesome. That's a great story. I like it. So, in all these years, all these decades that you've been in this business, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen?
Well, number one by far is the fact that, the acceptance of what we do. You remember way back in 1987,
Yeah.
I was almost embarrassed. Like you go to parties, you go, hey, what do you do? And I didn't want to say, well, I'm in custom closets, because nobody knew what that was. So I would say, I'm in cabinetry, specializing in organizational spaces. So you try to make it understandable or
Yeah.
a little more cool.
Yeah.
But so the number one thing is what we've done as an industry, California Closets to everybody else. We've done a great job in getting the message out that this is a viable industry. It has great benefits to you if you acquire this product. So the acceptance level is huge, especially since now I think we're on the third generation since Cal Closets started in 78.
Yeah.
The third generation of people buying closets. And a lot of these people that we sold to in the 90s are now buying their own homes, or even having kids buying their homes now that would never think of buying a house without having a custom closet because they grew up with one.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that huge acceptance, and it's becoming a real thing, as opposed to when it was just you can have any color as long as it's white, and there were no accessories. One of the biggest changes was when we as an industry came up with some standardization, because you can't innovate unless you have a standard. So as a group, we came up with the 18, 24, 30, 12, 14, 16 depths and all these standards, right? And that allowed the accessory manufacturers to have a standard that they could work with. Because if they were making a basket or a pull-out tie rack or anything, and they were trying to appeal to everybody's different measurements and things, they could never succeed. So because of the standardization, we have so many more accessories to offer and so much more that we can put into a closet.
For sure.
And lately, I think that the latest thing is just the the influx of LED lighting and the ease of applying lighting. So you'll see a lot of closets now have either strip lighting, puck lighting. The lighting is dimmable, and there's now even introducing tunable lighting, so you can change the temperature of the lighting.
Yeah.
So that's a huge deal. And when you can light up a closet like that for relatively little money, it makes a huge difference to the client.
I like the drawers, the lights in the drawers that when you open them, the drawers light up. I love that. I have a very standard custom closet, and it's ready for the next generation because I want all those bells and whistles,
I think there's a lot of companies you can call in Phoenix, but how would you pick which one to call?
I know it's a problem. I have to stay objective, and so that's an issue. So I may have to just get someone from Italy or something to do it. So where do you see the industry headed? Like, if you put on your futuristic glasses, what are you thinking?
Well, there's obviously there's a lot more bigger players being involved. So the benefit of being a small kept secret was that we had the ability to stay under the radar of all this. But what we're seeing now is a lot larger companies putting a lot of money into developing programs. The latest we all know is the Container Store.
Right.
Buying my old company and getting a lot more serious about custom in-home closet design and sales. So
right.
That's a huge change. One of the things that hasn't occurred that I always, the only thing that kept me awake at night back in 1999 when we were networking with all these companies around the country was the kitchen and bath industry getting involved. I always figured, it's the same, similar products, similar time frame, similar clientele. I mean, it just seems so logical that was going to happen. I wanted to protect against that. That's why we created all these associations and tried to build it up to form a shield that we are actually an industry. We're not just some side thing that they could pick up. Because my fear was that you would have the, not the national, the NKBA, it'd be the NKBCA. Because to roll closets into their operations seemed to me to be easy, but apparently it hasn't been. So the mentality of case goods versus shared panels versus all that kind of tripped them up a little bit. So here we are 22 years after my real fear of that happening. And we're seeing some, yes, but that's also, on the horizon. People who are doing kitchens and baths also doing the closets. We're seeing more of that, and whether the national players will create a line or partner with someone to create a line.
I mean, there are a few of them that have closet lines, but I think it seems like it's more the custom cabinet companies, the smaller cabinet companies that are also doing closets versus, like you're saying, the national brands. Do you think you're going to see, like in trends with supplies, more like motorized remote products, for instance, that you walk into your closet and just press one button and everything happens, the music goes on, the lights go on, the drawer opens. I mean,
I'll have this, I got to send you this cartoon we made up for one of our national closet group meetings. I had this picture of, closets before, which showed like the caveman getting dressed with the, all that stuff. But the future closets was just this little room you walk into called the Clositron 2500. And the mom would put the kid in the closet, push a button, and boom, he become dressed. So
yeah, I like it.
It's funny. I'll send you that cartoon if I can find it.
I love it.
I communicated a lot through cartoons, and I think that motorized is great. Lighting's great. I think that some of the fear in that is a lot of owners go, I don't want to have a lot of moving parts because moving parts require repair and avoids the warranty and things. So if we can have moving parts that are super simple and durable and easy to use, I think some of them are already, like the in motion, the valet rod that comes down, things like that. Yeah,
I saw a few of those at the at Closets Con in San Diego, and I'm like, I should absolutely have those because I'm vertically challenged and under doctor's orders to never get on a step stool or a ladder. And so I have all this space in my closet that I can't use because I can't get to it. So unless my kids are over, and then they can get things, but the only one who uses that space are my cats. So
you can get one of those shepherd hooks, right?
Pardon?
You can get one of those shepherd hooks to reach up and grab your hanger.
Yeah, I have the reach it, those those are fun. You can chase the dog with it too. You're on the board of directors for the Association of Closets and Storage Professionals, ACSP.
Yes.
Started in 2005 after the first Closets Con in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
And why do you think that's important?
Well, I've always believed in the whole philosophy of networking because none of us are as smart as all of us. So putting us all together to share ideas and best practice is a huge, huge benefit. Now, the association was built primarily on, well, actually go back to the National Closet Group. That was built on networking, purchasing, and marketing, so the three-legged stool. But by far, always the networking was the number one thing. In fact, people love going to the conferences because not only would you learn during the day, but then at the bar at night, and all the side conversations were really huge. So I also think that there's a lot of benefit just in terms of. I just think it's really important that there's a place to go for information. Number one. So what we're working on now is the reintroduction of the Association of Closet and Storage Professionals. We changed management. We're revamping the website. We're making it a lot more attractive so that, for the cost of getting involved, just the first month you'd make so much more benefit in your company just from that. So we're working hard to make sure that that's communicated well. So as you saw at the show, we have a new 5-point presentation to talk about, the things we're doing with education, certification, operation best practices, marketing, networking, all the things we're doing to ensure that you get involved, that you're going to get a lot out of it. And like anything, you get out what you put in.
Right.
But still by far, the networking is always on the top of that list. But we're also working very hard on the marketing aspect too. We have a website, closets.org, which we're working really hard to make sure that website pops up no matter where you are in the country. If you Google custom closets, the ACSP pops up, and then you as a member, get to be on that website, and people going there for information, education as a consumer will see that you're a certified member of this association. Hopefully that'll drive business your way. And as we all know, a lead costs between $200 and $300 to get. So for the price of admission, you get one lead, it pays for itself. But if you get 5 leads out of the source, plus information, plus best practice, plus all these other things with product and everything, it's just an incredible opportunity.
And I can speak from experience since we launched the Closets brand. I've been involved with the ACSP one way or another, and it's made up of people. You're looking at Mike Carson. The rest of the members have the same enthusiasm, the same engagement in the industry. They're all there looking for ways to raise the bar, make the industry stronger. And I say kudos for the energy you all put forth, because I don't see that with other associations as clearly as I see it with you all.
what's great to see too is we're seeing now people my age, their kids are getting involved in the business and actually taking the businesses over, which
Yeah,
is really, really fun to see.
it is. It really is. So Mike, what do you see for yourself going forward? What's the next chapter, Mike Carson?
Well, I'm going to keep enjoying life. I'm going to keep growing this business and create opportunities for other people, and ultimately, get a boat on a lake and
Nice.
near a golf course so I can practice.
Yeah.
Because really, unless you're on the tour, all golf is practice anyway. But
Yeah, that's very true. I wanted to get back to your idea about everyone should wait tables. I think that's a great session at one of the upcoming Closets Con that you could talk about customer service and just kind of reading your customers and their needs and just being a little more personable. Because a meal can be made or just awful, if you have a bad waiter. But if you have one that's engaged with you, it makes the food taste better. I'm sure of it.
have you ever been in a restaurant and you need the waiter's attention and you see him walk in one door at that end and walk all the way across the restaurant without even looking your way?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
That's a huge lesson. Just, being aware of your surroundings, head on a swivel, kind of like RoboCop looking around. You have to be aware. So that's just one of the many lessons that you learn being a waiter.
Yeah.
I also want to mention about the industry.
Yeah.
That what we noticed at the conference in San Diego is we have a lot of new guys, a lot of newbies coming on, and it's really fun to see how excited they are. They come and they just wow, this is going to be so much fun. And they're right, it's going to be a fun industry for them. So that's fun to see. And it reminded me nobody could have started in this industry with less knowledge than me. I knew nothing about it. In fact, when I first started, and don't tell anybody I told you this, I didn't know you could buy the material already white. So I bought raw particle board and I painted it by a roller in my basement and then put T-molding on. And at one point somebody goes, you can buy that already with white on it. I go, oh, that's awesome. So
I love it. It's great. So Mike, I really appreciate you taking time here today to talk about these things. And I look forward to many more years in the industry with you. I wish you and your family good health and success. And to everyone that's watching, it's also written in the May-June issue of Closets and Organized Storage. We'll be in Palm Beach next year for Closets Con 2023, April 12th through 14. Hope we'll see everyone there. And Mike, you have any last parting words?
Thank you, Laurel. It's so much fun talking to you. We've been friends for so long, and so I really appreciate the opportunity. I guess somebody asked me that the other day. They said, "You have any last words?" After I finished speaking to them, and I thought, wow, put on the spot. But what I said was, stay curious. Which I think if you're curious about life and about your business, you'll always find solutions. So my last words are, stay curious.
Very good advice. I like that. So we will part now.
All right. Thanks, Laurel. Have a great day.